Welcome to Soul via Soul, the podcast where we embark on a journey of self-love and true wellness. I'm your host, Jada, and I'm absolutely delighted to have you here with me as we dive into all things mind, body, and soul. Now, what do you say we get this thing started? Let's dive in. Hi, and welcome to Soul via Soul. Today, we are going to talk about the wounded aspects of ourselves and how it's these unconscious, trapped emotions, often big emotions like anger, that we have not expressed in our mind and body that keep us actually stuck and can lead to disease. And it's the whole understanding that this wounded inner child has to be seen and held with care in order for us to actually move into creating the life that we want as adults. So let's get into understanding how our wounded aspects of ourselves are actually preventing us from moving forward in our adult life and understanding this mind-body connection to healing. In today's lesson, we're really going to talk about the wounded child. And when I say that, I really just mean that inside all of us can be a wounded, smaller version of ourselves. Now, how did this wounded little girl or boy land there? How did this happen? It happens through growing up. Now, I've talked a lot before about trauma and how there can be certainly big traumas, but there can also be little t traumas, or this accumulation of disappointments and hurts along the way, just through the process of growing up, that can leave us feeling this lack of our self-worth. Again, I've talked in other areas about the subconscious reprogramming. And as children, we spend most of our time in the subconscious. Our brain waves are in those lower brain waves, which are more connected to our subconscious, which means that a lot of the things that we hear and say and believe in childhood drop in as truth into our subconscious. So those disappointments through childhood that we all experience can leave an imprint in our subconscious mind that we are not lovable or not good enough or not worthy of love, just through day-to-day, daily sort of interactions. It doesn't have to be any big significant thing. And this wounded part of us stays wounded until we go back and heal that part of us. And that's where subconscious reprogramming, healing the wounded child, reparenting, all those phrases speak to this broken part of ourselves. And I struggle to use the word broken because there's no part of us that is broken. We are whole and complete always. But what's broken is our belief that we are. That is what gets severed in growing up and becoming an adult, is that we lose that connection to that child within us that sees the world through wholeness, that sees the world through the eyes of wonderment and imagination and exploration, and lives life full on open heart, because that's how children live in the world. They are wide open all the time, very heart-centered. Emotions are front and center because that's how a child expresses his or her needs in the world. And somewhere along the way, we decide to sever that part of ourselves as we grow. And honestly, the work as adults is to go back and heal that part of us. And the hard truth is that no one's going to do this for us. No one's coming to save us. There is no white knight waiting on a horse to gallop in and give us what we need. What we do learn as we grow up is that we are the source of the things that we need. Everything that we want in this world, exterior-wise, actually is already contained within us. We have within us the nuggets of our greatness, the nuggets of our divinity are already woven into our DNA, but we've forgotten that. So the journey home to ourselves, the journey back to wholeness and wellness in general, is a remembering of how to love ourselves again, how to be able to live life through the eyes of a child, but with the knowledge that we have as adults, to embrace the world with that wonderment. So, how do we do that? How do we heal that wounded part of us? And there are definitely steps and ways that you can do this, but it really just starts with an invitation to kind of go inward and start the journey of saying hello to that little part of us that's still little and inside of us. And that can be cultivated through different things like I've talked about before: mindfulness, self reflection, journaling, um, exploring even childhood experiences and having uh, recalling the things that you used to do as a child, or even pains that you remember, and then going back and writing about those, where certain incidences that happened that led you to believe that you were not worthy of love. And again, we all have these experiences where we have decided that there was something broken about us, something lacking, that unless we go back and do the job of really reflecting upon and healing, we continue to carry those beliefs into our adult life. And as a therapist, I can tell you like attracts like. So if you have this sense that you're not worthy, you will attract someone that will mirror that will reflect back to you those same limiting beliefs. So doing the work of healing this wounded part of you not only elevates your own self-worth, but it will elevate every aspect of your life, because when you love you, when you know how to honor your needs and know that you're okay to have those needs and desires and that it's okay for those to be fulfilled, then you will start attracting elevated everything: different relationships, different job opportunities, different interactions with every relationship in your life becomes elevated. The way that you choose to love you changes. The food you eat will change. The way you look at your body will change. The thoughts that you have about yourself will change. Everything changes when we learn how to love us. And often what's standing in the way of that deep love of ourself is still this wounded child, this little piece of us that still feels unseen, unheard, and unloved. And it's our job as adults to go back, talk to that little part of us, have a conversation, shed a tear or two, and let the little part of us know that they are deeply loved, and bring them into our adult life. Allow that childlike wonderment to be a part of how we look through the world as adults. Allow that sense of innocence and exploration and heart-centered living to be a way that we invite that to be how we show up as an adult. And that true integration of child and adult is an awesome way to start the journey back to ourselves and wholeness. So think about that little wounded part of you. Think about what going back and visiting this part of you can look like. And we'll set the stage on how to go back and reintroduce yourself to this little person that's inside you so that you can reclaim wholeness.